We was on the bottom, yeah. Now we headed to the top. New level. On my level, don't see anybody. I don't see him. This right here could never stop. This could never stop. Ay, this right here could never stop. Hold up, nah, nah. Ay, this right here could never stop. Hold up, nah, nah. Ay, this right here could never stop. Hold up, nah, nah. Ay, this right here could never stop. Hold up, nah, nah. One time. Ay, I live on a job, right? Yeah, I'm always at work, right? Real people stay by me, right? Haters wanna do hurt, right? Know they tryna stop me, right? Drag my name through dirt, right? I don't feed into the hate, right? I just answer with a smirk, facts. I feel so special, facts. I know my worth, facts. My bloodline royal, facts. We the kings of the earth, right? You can't stop this, nah, nah. You can't stop this, no way, yo.
You saw what happened with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. We see the things happening, but I want y'all to think, why does it specifically happen to us? What is the why? I want them to answer, because they don't know. Why do you think, Rachel? Go to it. Read Deuteronomy 28:15. This is the reason why.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments.
So God says, if you won't hearken and do all his commandments, certain things are going to happen to the children of Israel. Read.
And his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses.
It says all these curses. Rachel, is a curse a good thing or a bad thing? It's a bad thing. So if you take a look at these signs right here, if you take a look at these signs with our Hispanic brothers and our so-called black brothers, what do you see happening right here? Can you see from there? You come closer if you want. What's happening to them? What is happening to this man right here? He's being beaten. What about down here? What do you see him wearing? He's wearing a chain on his neck. What about down here with the Native American Indians? What's happening to them? This man is about to be set on fire. These are the curses God said would happen to the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And the reason I keep linking us together is because we make up the children of Israel. We're one people. Read.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
It says the curses will come upon us and overtake us. Now give me verse 32 right quick. Because my question at first was, you say your father's so-called Cuban, right? And I do you think you and the so-called Mexicans, you're the same people? You don't think so?
They don't see us as the same.
Okay. Why?
Those are fleshly matters.
Hold on, sis. I want her to answer. How come, why you say they don't see us as the same people? Can't hear you. Say it again. Right. What do you think divides us? Okay, I'm gonna show you that. Give me verse 64 first.
Most High God.
Watch this.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
So it says God will scatter us. You know, we be in Mexico, we're in Cuba, we're in Haiti, we're in America. Read.
From the one end of the earth even unto the other.
So no matter where you go, you're going to find so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? You agree? Do you agree? Okay, read.
And there thou shalt serve other gods.
So God said, when you got there, you shall serve other gods. What religions do the so-called Cubans believe in? What is it? Catholicism? Okay. What religion do so-called African Americans believe in? Christianity. What religion do so-called Puerto Ricans believe in? You don't have the slightest clue? Most of the time, so-called Puerto Ricans believe in the same thing. Being Catholic, being Christian, Seventh-day Adventists. So you said we're divided. One of the things that divides us as a people, hold on sis, hold on. One of the things that divides us as a people is religion. Read.
Which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
But God said these religions that we're sharing, we didn't know them before. We're not supposed to be separated as a people. But because we broke the commandments and we're under the curses, we're separated. How else are we separated?
We're all separated.
What language? What's your first language, Rachel?
The Most High Son.
English? You don't speak Spanish at all? You speak Spanish, right?
Language don't separate.
Me, I would be considered a so-called Haitian. I'm from the tribe of Levi. I speak Creole. But because I speak Creole and you speak Spanish, I would think we're different people.
My God.
And I know Spanish isn't the same for every, Hispanic race, right? And y'all think y'all different. But the truth is, we are the same people. Our history is in this Bible because the same things happen to us. And I'm going to show you why we speak that language. Go to verse 49. Got you.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 49.
So Rachel and Johnny, listen to this. Read.
I gotta stop.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
I want you, if y'all can step closer, I want y'all to look at this.
Racism.
You too, Rachel. I want you to see something.
The U.S. race.
So right here you have the Northern Kingdom, which will be the so-called Native American You And over here on this side, you have the so-called Negroes, who will be considered African Americans, Jamaicans, Haitians. Over here you have people who will be considered Native American Indian, Puerto Rican, Cuban, and so on and so forth. What do you see that's similar that's happening to these two people right here?
That stuff don't matter. That stuff is not.
What's happening here?
That stuff is gonna burn up in the.
I know y'all can see. Y'all can come closer if y'all want.
It's not even.
Slavery, right?
It don't matter.
So what race of people is conquering the so-called blacks and the so-called Hispanics? What race of people?
The sun.
You know a little bit of Cuban history?
The sun. John 1, he was the word.
Not too much? Okay, I'm going to bring you up to speed. The race of people that conquered the so-called Cubans were the conquistadors.
I gotta go.
So-called white people. The people who conquered the so-called Puerto Ricans, African Americans, Haitians were so-called white people. And God said he would do what?
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
So God said he would bring a nation against thee from far. Because originally, who was here in America first? Who was here over here in South America, North America, the Northern Hemisphere? The Native American Indians, not just that. Do you know about the Tainos in Cuba? The Tainos in Cuba were here too. You were here first. But God said he would bring a nation from the other side of the world. Read.
From the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
So God said, as swift as the eagle flieth. What is America's symbol or their mascot? The eagle. The eagle. I have a question for you, sis. When the conquistadors came over, what was their symbol? It was the eagle. What I'm trying to show you that is we have the same history. You're not different from Johnny. Johnny, you're not different from Rachel. Rachel, you're not different from the other Rachel. Because we are the 12 tribes of Israel. Right. We're God's chosen people, and we are living under the same curses. You're not different from the so-called Mexicans, who according to the Bible are from the tribe of Issachar. Those are your brothers and sisters. And whatever your people are going through, they're going through the same thing. Finish that up.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
So it says a nation whose tongue you will not understand. Believe it or not, so-called Cubans didn't always speak Spanish. Right. So-called Puerto Ricans didn't always speak Spanish. We wasn't speaking, my ancestors wasn't speaking Creole originally. We were speaking Hebrew. Do we have that book? I think it's Lost Tribes in the Promised Land, where it says the Indians. Okay, let me get that. So, Rochelle and Rachel, I got it now. So this is a historical book documenting, and it's going to be proof that so-called Hispanics, when the doors came over, you guys, your ancestors didn't understand him originally. He wasn't saying, hola, ¿cómo estás? Te amo, whatever, whatever. All right? Read that. Read the first line right here.
This is Lost Tribes and Promised Lands, page 364.
This one,
Waving a banner high in the air, the Indian guide soon greeted by a puff of smoke far beyond the other bank of the river. In response to his signal, the two men waited. Eventually, a canoe appeared, bearing 3 men and a woman, all of them Indians.
So it said a canoe appeared, and it was Indians. How you doing, sis? How you doing? What's your name? Nicole? Nicole, nice to meet you. My name is Basea. Nicole, meet Rochelle, Johnny, and Rachel. Nicole, let me ask you, where is your father from? Jamaica. So your father, according to the Bible, your father would be from the tribe of Benjamin, from the nation of Israel. So have you ever heard about that before? You haven't heard about that before, right? So right here, we're going over our history, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We're going over how our history is not so different. We're the same people, and the same thing happened to us, but for now, we're divided by, various things like religion. We're divided by language. You might speak Patois. I might speak Creole. Rochelle might speak Spanish. Rachel might speak another form of Spanish, and we all think we're different. But the truth is, God says, according to the Bible, that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we are the children of Israel. And right here, we're going over a historical book that says that the so-called Native American Indians and our Hispanic brothers didn't always speak English. All right, Rachel? Read.
To the place where Francisco and Montesinos were standing at the water's edge. The woman...
Do the name of the book again and the author.
This is The Lost Tribes and Promised Lands by Ronald Sanders, page 364. Waving a banner high in the air, the Indian guide soon was greeted by a puff of smoke far beyond the other bank of the river. In response to his signal, the two men waited. Eventually, a canoe appeared, bearing 3 men and a woman, all of them Indians.
So there was 3 men and a woman, and all of them were Indians. You got that? Yeah. Read.
To the place where Francisco and Montesinos were standing at the water's edge. The woman got off and spoke to Francisco in an Indian tongue.
So she said the woman got off and spoke to Francisco, who spoke a form of Spanish in an Indian tongue. Let's see what she said. Read.
That Montesinos could not understand.
So, Rachel, there's proof right there. Even though the dude spoke Spanish, the Native American woman was speaking an Indian dialect that he didn't understand. So when he saw her, he didn't greet her saying, hola. You see what I'm saying? Read.
Although he could perceive that he was being identified in the conversation, she then turned to her male companions to explain the situation. Upon hearing her words, they rose, went over to Montesinos, and to his utter astonishment said, Shema Yisrael Odinai Elohinu Odinai Ehud. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one.
So they all spake in the Indian dialect that was Hebrew. And they say, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. So that lets you know that we are the Israelites according to the Bible. Sis, you're not a so-called Cuban. You're not African American. You're not so-called Jamaican. You are from the tribe of Manasseh. You're from the tribe of Benjamin. You're from the tribe of Ephraim. And we make up the 12 tribes of Israel. What I'm trying to show you that is Hispanic people and black people are not different. We go through the same thing. Go ahead.
They had recited in Hebrew the fundamental credo of Judaism.
So they said they have recited in Hebrew. That's proof that even the scholars know that our Hispanic brothers, they're the same as us. We're one family. That's what I'm trying to show you. If that's all, go back to the Bible now. Go back to Deuteronomy 28. So, like I said earlier, we're showing you that we are the Israelites according to the Bible. I don't want y'all walking off here saying, oh, I'm just black, I'm just Hispanic. No, you're more than that, Rachel, Rochelle, Johnny, and Nicole, right? You're more than just black women, Hispanic women, than a black man. Now read verse 49. So now, Rachel, now I said that we are the Israelites according to the Bible. How come, Nicole and Rachel, how come we don't know this information? We're not being properly educated. That's true. What do you think, Rachel? Exactly. It's not something that's taught. And your enemy, which is what we're going to read right here, will never tell you that you are the greatest people on the face of the planet Earth. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
So it says, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far. I'm going to bring it up to 2020. Who gets shot down in the street all the time? Everybody?
Not everybody, but a lot.
Which race of people? The brother in the car said black. What about so-called Hispanics too? So-called Hispanics get shut down. What's that? Who gets shut down the most? There's statistics on it. It's blacks and Hispanics. Okay, who fills up the prison system the most? Blacks and Hispanics. What I'm trying to show you is that we as a people are living under the curses. But you ever notice us blacks and Hispanics, we try to tear each other down? Yes. So why do we do that? Why do we think we're so different when God says we're not? I'm gonna show you. Finish that up.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
The same race of people is terrorizing us, the so-called white man. Whether he says, now, not only do they shoot you down in the street, they say, you're nothing but a grass cutter. You're a guat, go cut my lawn. If you go into the rich neighborhood, so-called black people doing construction, Hispanics are taking care of the people's lawns. But that's not where we're supposed to be at. But what I'm trying to show you is that we're under the same curses as a people. Don't think y'all different because y'all not. Read.
Verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance.
God says this race of people is fierce. They got no remorse. And let's see how fierce they are. Read.
Which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
God says this race of people, this so-called white man, he don't care if you're young. How old are you, Rachel, if you don't mind me asking? 24. How old are you, Nicole, if you don't mind me asking? 46. God says he don't care if you're young, old, man, or woman. God says he put this white man against us. The white man is God's belt. And we've been getting whipped for too long. And the reason we're going through these things is because we broke the commandments.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.